Hi there, and welcome back to rLounge. Newsflash, the Earth revolves around the sun. Just want to clear that up because some people think the world revolves around them. Our first OP encounters a Karen who is out of this world. Crazy lady claimed to be the former owner of my truck. Since I made this Reddit account for an r/am-I-the-a-hole post, I may as well tell this story too. The state I live in has crazy entitled people pretty much everywhere, so this crap doesn't surprise me at all since I've seen it enough times in my life to become indifferent to it. But it's amusing to talk about, so I'll tell it here. Though the first part isn't so amusing. In 2020, I lost my home in a wildfire and was only left with whatever I could pick up in a Ford Focus during the evacuation. I was renting a basement apartment in a country house, and most of my stuff went up in flames. I realized that my car may get good gas mileage, but it's not going to hold a lot of stuff, or tow anything. My landlord evacuated his family in a big GMC truck with a fifth-wheel trailer. He had everything he needed for emergency food storage to back up vehicles. His wife drove another truck out, fully loaded with a trailer full of their stuff. They had everything they needed to survive and more. That made me realize that I needed to be better prepared. I had to couch surf for a while, and I could never stay in one place for long because I was a guest and not a tenant. So I ended up living out of a tent in a field with several other people who'd also lost their homes to the fires. It was like a tent village set up by a local charity. The shelters were beyond full, and it's a warm climate, so tents were the next best way to go considering the situation at the time. I managed to get a used but decent sized tent and basically furnished it like a tiny apartment with a cot, a small table, and some chairs. I even housed a poker night in it a few times, though I tried to make sure I didn't leave anything worth stealing in it when I went to work. I was still going to work almost every day and even volunteering for extra shifts. I was saving money since I wasn't paying rent living the tent life, and I made up my mind to keep saving to one day buy a truck of my own. Because if this situation with the wildfires or some other disaster ever happened again, I need to be better prepared. Move on to just a few months ago. I put down over a year's worth of savings to buy a used Chevy Silverado 1500 with a canopy already on it. It's got a few dents and a big diagonal scratch across the hood, and the paint is a bit weather worn. But so what? It had a good bit less than 100,000 miles on it, and a list of recent repairs that included a new radiator. I'd spent a year living as cheaply as possible to save as much as possible. I wanted a truck and a camp trailer in case the fires ever come back. Some people have tried to call me a hoarder for picking up stuff on the side of the road and using it, but I don't keep all that stuff at my apartment. In fact, I keep almost minimal furniture. Some remark that my apartment looks like it was just moved into, as I still keep some of my stuff packed in boxes. I want to be able to pack and leave fast if I have to, especially since the world only seems to be getting worse right now. I bought the truck, an ironically silver Silverado. I bought it off a man who looked to be in his 50s that said he has a bad back and can't use it anymore. And he gave me a steal of a deal when I came to get it by dropping the price by $1,000 because he felt I was clearly in love with it. And I am. I'm very happy with the truck. She drives like a dream. A big heavy dream, but still a dream. And she was clearly underdriven by the previous owner as it's still not at 100,000 miles. I still kept my old Ford Focus though. That way my fuel costs won't skyrocket. Now let's get to what happened a few weeks ago after I bought the truck. I was out in the same general area I bought the truck in to look at a used camp trailer that I was possibly interested in buying. But it ended up being in such bad shape that I turned it down because it was beyond my skills to repair. Before leaving the town, I stopped to eat at a local diner. Great burgers there, by the way. And as I was leaving after having dinner, I noticed a woman who looked to be somewhere in her 40s looking over my truck. I'm not going to use the term Karen to describe this person because I know two women named Karen, and they're both fantastic people. So no Karen here. But she did sort of have that look that people associate with the stereotype. I asked the lady what she was doing poking around my truck, and she gave me a side glare while demanding to know where I got it. I said I just bought it a few weeks prior. She rushed up to me and said, I didn't buy it, I stole it. I told her no, I purchased it from the title owner, so that makes it mine. The lady then rifled through her purse to pull out a smartphone and scrolled through it, and then she showed a photo of a truck in it. I looked at the truck in the picture, and I'll be a monkey's uncle, it was the same truck. The license plate and scratch on the hood were clearly visible. And there was also a man in the photo, the same guy who sold me the truck. When I acknowledged this, the crazy lady started yelling, "See? See?" and then demanded I return it to her. She held her hand out for the keys and kept saying to give it back. I told her I bought the Silverado fair and square off the guy in the photo, and that is my truck now. But she didn't let up. She went and sat on my bumper and called the police. She was heavily exaggerating while talking to the operator, or dispatcher, or whatever they call the person on the line when you call 911. I'm not sure. She refused to get off my truck, so I decided to just wait it out for the police to show up. When the police got there, I stayed completely calm, But the crazy lady went off and started working up tears and saying that her truck went missing some time ago and she finally found it. Then she demanded they arrest me for grand theft auto and get her truck back. I just calmly unlocked the doors, got my insurance card, registration, and license to hand to one of the officers. I told them to just check my documents and see if I'm the legal owner. But the crazy lady did not stop. She tried to run to the door of the truck I'd opened, but I relocked it before I shut it. And she tried repeatedly to pull on the handle while telling the police to just arrest me already. One of the officers calmed the lady down while the other ran my information. He came back after a few minutes and said everything checks out. The crazy lady looked a British word I like to use that I think I can best describe the moment. Gobsmacked. She said that it can't be and demanded the police check again, then pulled out her phone to show more pictures of the truck. I pointed out that the man in one of the photos was the one who sold the truck to me, and I have no idea what relation the crazy lady is to him, but he's the only person I bought the truck from. The police asked her who it was, and she said it was her soon-to-be ex-husband. They were going through a divorce. I pointed out when I bought the truck, her husband's name was the only one on the title. The crazy lady yelled at me that he'd originally bought it for her, and it was missing one day after she came home. All I could do was shrug and say I did not know that, but her husband was the legal owner before me, and I bought the truck from him. The police told her that I was correct, and it is legally my truck now. The lady went from crazy to just very sad as she cried that it was her truck, and he sold it without her permission. I did feel sorry for the woman and said to the police that they may want to do a wellness check on her or something. They said I was free to go and they would handle the situation from there. When I was getting ready to leave, the crazy lady yelled that she was going to follow me and find out where I live, but the two officers didn't let her do so. I left the parking lot and hightailed it on the highway out of there. I later contacted the guy who sold me the truck, and he admitted that the crazy lady is his soon-to-be ex-wife. She cheated on him for the second time, and it was the final nail in the coffin for their marriage. The truck was always in his name only, and that woman had signed a prenup when they married, so the divorce was not going to be in her favor. It's been months now, and that lady has not found me again, so I'm probably in the clear as long as I avoid the area I bought the truck in. Though, for all I know, she's not even living there anymore since her husband divorced her. Edit. Many have pointed out the need for new plates and paint, so I've started putting money off to the side for that. Considering the heat, I may just paint the truck white, as that color is better under the sun and I like it. I've already ordered a home dent puller kit to try and undo some of the dents on the body myself. I'm not sure if I'm going to pay to have the truck painted or try to paint it myself. Doing it DIY style sounds interesting, and I hear there's kits for buying everything you need to paint a vehicle for a little over $100 online. Either way, I should have the truck repainted and with new plates eventually. And hopefully, if I ever run into the crazy lady again, she won't recognize me. One without a name too starts off the comments. This is just wild. Have you considered a paint job to help conceal your truck? OP replies, yeah, I've considered new plates and either repainting or replacing the hood someday. Postgirl adds, aren't you supposed to get new plates when you register the truck? Midnight Street Lamps answers, depends on the state. Some states you can just get them transferred. In OP's case, I'd say it's well worth trading the plates in and removing any overly noticeable features like the hood marks, any old bumper stickers, etc. The OP replies, exactly my plan when I get some extra money together. The DMV wants like $200 for new plates these days. Yikes, OP. First off, I'm so sorry that you had to go through losing your home and living in a tent and basically rebuilding your life brick by brick. That's horrendous, and I can't imagine the stress and horror that you experienced. I think it's normal to live in a state of being able to easily pick up and go after experiencing something like that. I imagine it would make it hard to acquire things because you wouldn't want to lose it all over again. That's devastating, OP, and again, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm proud of you for working your butt off and buying a truck of your own that will help you out, if need be, in the future, which brings me to my second point. That truck is yours, fair and square. Whatever beef she has with her ex-husband should be kept between her and her ex-husband. I'm so sorry you got wrapped up in all of that junk after everything. I always thought that you had to use your own plates if you want to register or insure your vehicle. But anyways, I think painting the vehicle and changing the plates is your best bet. Make it your own. What do you make of this? Our next OP's neighbors really blew it for themselves. Entitled neighbor brings the neighborhood Wi-Fi down. So my neighbor had the optic cable junction box for our neighborhood's internet service provider. I got the representatives at my door asking if my Wi-Fi is down too. I informed them that it is indeed to which they shared that the neighbor has cut the optic cables leading to our routers from the junction and if they can reinstall the junction at my house. After some time, they came back with the required equipment for the installation and I asked them what was the reason behind cutting all the cables. Lo and behold, the neighbor also wanted the internet service provider to install a router in their house, and apparently they thought the fastest way of getting them to do so was to cut the junction box cables and bring the whole neighborhood's Wi-Fi down. so this was the reason they did so, and we had no internet between 12 and 8 p.m. Good news is the entitled neighbor has been blacklisted by the company, and sad part is, this is at the moment the best service provider in our area. Fluffy Doubt 3547 has the first response. This is awesome. Also make sure every single neighbor has a hard Wi-Fi password. H010 Kron says, also, all their network names is a variation of bad neighbor, go F yourselves. Louisiana Jeff adds next. They will probably receive a rather large bill for the repairs and relocation, possibly even a fine from the state police if this is in the USA. DOP replies, we're not in the USA. Here the rules are very laxed, so I don't believe the company is going to go behind them. IR Engineer has one more comment. Years ago, before the internet, we had a cable for TV. Due to geography, we couldn't get any broadcast transmissions in the area. One neighbor who hadn't subscribed decided he wanted to watch the big game for free, so he went to the box and took the connection from one of the other neighbors. Of course, the neighbor who lost his connection called the cable company, who came out and discovered the problem. I assume he was blacklisted and they put a better lock on the box. Jesus, there's always got to be somebody to ruin it for everyone else. What honestly goes on in these people's minds? Do they honestly think they can get away with things like this? This level of entitlement shocks me. I have no words for this level of stupidity. Thankfully, they were able to reinstall it at your place. If these people do this, I can't imagine what else they're capable of. Thanks for sharing, OP. I'm sorry they're your neighbors. Have you experienced anything like this? Let us know below. And thank you for joining us today on rLounge. Before you go, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you have something you want to say regarding today's content, share that with us in the comments below. See you soon.